How anxious do you get? How annoyed do you get, perhaps even with God, as you go about the business of waiting for something that may be a perfectly good thing? Jesus never got anxious. Jesus was never, oh, when is this going to happen? Jesus never sinned against God by being impatient. You and I are called to be like Him. And if you're wondering, what in the world does this have to do with the price of tea in Texas on a Tuesday, these two issues are connected. As we study the patience of Jesus Christ and learn to wait biblically on the Lord, guess what happens? You and I start to look more and more like Jesus Christ. No kidding. If you have been failing to patiently wait well, you are forfeiting the blessing of becoming conformed into the image of Jesus Christ. Would you like to be more like Him? Of course you would. Then let us learn how to wait patiently like Jesus did. An article from Mike Ayers. God has something to do, something to achieve in our waiting. Therefore, waiting means cooperating with the processes of growth. God is not waiting to do something for you at the end of your waiting. God is doing something for you while you wait. In other words, God is up to something. God is busy. God is near. He is not unaware. He has heard your pleas. He has heard your laments and your cries and your longings, maybe for children, for a job, perhaps for just one good day of health. God is fully aware, and He's not waiting to turn lemons into lemonade. The lemons are actually the process of Him doing something in you. More from Mike Ayers. Waiting means leaving room for God to act in His way, in His time, and according to His sovereign plan. You and I have a tendency to put God on our clock. I'm going to need this by next Tuesday. It's not the way it operates. We need to remember God's sovereignty. His clock is always set just right. His timing is always perfect. Now, isn't that a comfort? You and I, we think we need this thing by that time. God knows better. And when we rest in His sovereignty, we can be patient in our waiting. And as we do, we're going to look more like Jesus Christ. And isn't that worth it? More from Mike. Waiting is about letting go of control. It is essentially about cooperating with what the Father is seeking to do rather than fight against it. Do you know that when you're impatient, you're actually fighting against God's sanctification process in you? Instead, this hurts. Carrie Underwood was right. We do need to let Jesus take the wheel, because the reality is He's already got it. You and I think we're hanging on. We're steering this car when we're not. You and I need to get out of the driver's seat of our lives, at least in our minds, and submit to riding shotgun, to letting God take you wherever He wants you to go and have you arrive when He wants you to get there. More from Mike Ayers. God has more on His mind than just you or me. Hey, that hurts. He also has things to achieve in others and in our world. Maybe He's using your waiting, your circumstances, as a way of helping, comforting, or encouraging somebody else, or even bringing them to faith. Might that help as you wait for your perfectly fine request to be delivered by God? Come on, how does that make you feel to know that right now, as you wait, perhaps longing for a perfectly good blessing, God is actually using you, not granting your request, because He's about other business that no doubt has eternal effect. Whoa! You mean there's another purpose in waiting? Yes! besides growing in strength, besides having hope, besides not growing bitter at other people who have what I don't, besides becoming more and more like Jesus Christ, you and I can recognize, whoa, God is using me to do eternal things. That's got to help a little bit. From Mike Ayers, what God does while we're waiting may be just as important as what we're waiting for. In other words, God is doing something in your waiting. More details for you on that. While we're waiting on God, we're not waiting to obey Him. By waiting, you are obeying Him. Find satisfaction in that obedience. Where you are right now is the time for faith and rejoicing, not at the end of your waiting. Has it been a while since you have been able to rejoice as you have been waiting perhaps for years for God to grant your request? Know that by being obedient right now, God is working in you to accomplish things that are even greater than the thing we are requesting. This is not to minimize what it is that you long for, but it is to recognize God desires for you to have something bigger or to participate in something bigger. Remember that fruit of patience? One last thought. People and circumstances don't make you impatient. They reveal you already are impatient. Maybe God's trying to teach us that one thing we don't like to admit, that we want control. Maybe He's trying to reveal our impatience without blaming it on others or life circumstances. Maybe part of the reason for waiting is to make us the person He wants us to be and build us in fruit that represents the Holy Spirit's presence within us. Love, joy, peace, and patience. Perhaps it is not time for you to give up your desire or making your requests be made known to the Lord, but perhaps it is time to stop clinging to your clock, your schedule, your timetable, and let God work in your life to produce things that are frankly beyond our greatest imagination. Hello, Maria. This is Todd Friel from your auto insurance company, noticing you're not taking advantage of any of our life insurance policies. Really? Really, you're not afraid to die? That's funny. Listen to this clip from Paul Washer.
I'm talking about you.
So what do you think of that, Maria?